Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining another episode of the Educational Leadership Podcast. We have a returning guest that I'm very excited about. Before we introduce our guest, we do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Ideal Impact. Ideal Impact's giving away hundreds of millions of dollars to public education in the form of a free gift. So if your district needs unrestricted funds that doesn't involve the government, reach out to Ideal Impact. Okay, today we have again on the podcast, I guess it's been a couple years now, maybe, we have Dr. Martha Salazar Zamora from Tomball ISD. Dr. Zamora, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Gary. I'm excited to be back with you. It feels like it was just yesterday, and it has been a minute for sure.
It has, yeah. Time flies. So, some of our listeners, we have some new listeners. We have about 1,000 listeners a month right now that are tuning in, and
Nice.
yeah, there's just a lot of excited people around public education. And the beauty of our podcast is everyone gets to hear directly from the superintendent and exactly what's going on, right? Um, But just before we jump into that, could you share a little bit about your background, just so people get re-familiar with, we got some new listeners since we were on before.
Sure, sure. As you heard, Martha Salazar Zamora, the very proud superintendent of the Tomball Independent School District. Tomball ISD is located we're a suburb of Houston, and we are very, very proud to be a very high performing, as a matter of fact, the only A-rated school district in all of Harris County. Very high performing, fast growing school district. What I love about Tomball, though, is it's not just about the high academics. We focus on that, but we really look at the whole child, ensuring that we do a lot to provide for mental health and wraparound services for the child from start to finish at any grade level, to ensure that when they're with us, every child finds a place to belong, a passion to pursue, and a love for learning that serves them well beyond the years they are with us here in Tomball ISD, where we love to say we are not just a district, but a destination, and not just a destination, but destination excellence. That's a little bit about Tomball.
I love it. I love it. And yeah, I've had the opportunity. I mean, it's been years now. I was right at the beginning stages of your career development center and some of the things that were going on there. I imagine we're going to dive into that a little bit. So, what's on your radar these days? What's consuming you in public ed these days?
That's a great question. In Texas, we just finished our legislative session. It was rough. I'm not going to lie. As the TASA president, our state association president, now the past president, I was at the Capitol for almost 23 hours straight, testifying about a number of things, but in particular concerns with vouchers coming to Texas, because I really didn't see another state that could show us the exemplar of how to do something. Not against things just to be against them, but concerned that nobody is necessarily getting it exactly right. And not being able to emulate someone that has the secret sauce, right, to make it happen. Of course, that did pass. There were some things, grateful for some things that went our way and some things that didn't. Sad about that. But ultimately, like any legislative session, very glad that it ended. And now we look to the bills and figure out what's next. Although there was some money that was given to public ed, and always want to be grateful for that, it's never quite enough when you look at all of the additional unfunded mandates, things that are important: safety and security, continuing what we need for accountability and for student learning and achievement, obviously mental health, special education, the basic allotment. We were hoping to see a huge increase in that. We did not. But what does that mean? And why am I starting with that? Why am I saying all of that? Well, ultimately, Tomball tomorrow night will approve, I hope, a balanced budget. I'm proposing to the board a balanced budget, and I hope that that will be the case. However, it came with a lot of detail and attention and tightening of our belts. And I'm not against that. But ultimately, when you give up something, there's every cause has an effect, right? And so you have to know that. One of the things that we dabbled into a little bit, Gary, the last time we spoke, which has been some time, was what I love to call how to be an enterprise superintendent. And it's not as if I went the business route and I'm a business person turned educator. I am not. I am a through and through educator who's had to look at ways and work with my team, my CFO, my former CFO, my cabinet team, on ways that we can produce additional income and yet provide all that we provide. So we know that we want to prepare our kids for college, career, or military readiness. A portion of our kids go to college and university and do an exceptional job, and their future is bright. A portion of our kids go into their career, straight into their career, and we want to best prepare them academically and through the technical career and technical education route as we can. And then, of course, a portion of our kids we're very proud of that go and serve in the military. Let's talk a little bit about the business sector and what that looks like. So this could be a child that goes right into industry, such as electrical. We have kids that can go through our program and then upon graduation sit for their master electrician certification, which of course we know that is great for students that have that need or that interest in something that we all need for sure. We have more traditional, as you and I and others that went to school, when we think of a traditional route for career and technical education. But because of the space, because of the additional revenue dollars, and because of a very supportive school board, community, and incredible staff, let's go back to that term I started with a minute ago, the enterprise superintendent. What does that look like? I keep telling superintendents, look around your community. Find a diamond in the rough, a ring in the rubble. Find something that you can turn into something far greater than you can imagine. This story actually started February of 2020. We were so excited. I was thrilled as superintendent to say we had completed the plan for the Academy of Energy and International Business. It was to be the first in the state of Texas, the second in the nation. There is a model similar in Florida at an airport where students would receive their full high school experience, all secondary 9-12, within industry. Ours was going to be in an oil and gas company, learning beside logistics, business individuals, and chemists, biologists, all of the individuals working for that company. That company was BJ Services, and we were very excited about the students selected and the staff selected and everything that our kids went through to prepare for their actual face-to-face interview, showing up in their nice little suits and beautiful dresses and just ready for dressing for success and what their future was going to hold for them. Well, I was proud that we had it completed so prior, with enough time to take a deep breath for that summer and get started fresh in August. Well, you know what happened the following month, March of 2020. The dream of the academy didn't die because of COVID, though. It died because BJ Services unfortunately went bankrupt. And that whole turn lemon into lemonade kind of thing. Initially, I was sad for the kids and just disappointed that this dream was never going to become a reality. I did reach out to one or two other, actually two other oil companies in our area to see if they had any interest. We already had it all played. The blueprint was there. The foundation was still a little wet, but there were things we could do to make it solid in transition, and as gracious as they were, because I'm pretty tenacious and knocked on doors with a lot of persistence, I was told no, and basically because of the space. Is it something else? I don't know, but ultimately I had to say, I get it. If you don't have the space, you don't have the space. Let's come back to that at the end of this talk, right before we end. So we move forward, and as we're coming back to, Texas re-entered very somewhat quicker than other states. And I, one day, as I'm driving to work, see this large for sale sign outside of BJ Services. Now it is 70 acres. It's a very large area of land that has multiple warehouses, 10 beautiful buildings. Think not how school districts build and furnish. This is an oil and gas company. Okay. So it looks very different than our traditional brick and mortar schools. A lot of warehouse space, as I mentioned, and a lot of what I would call untapped opportunity. So I came to my CFO that day, barreled into his office and said, hey, not only was there a for sale sign, but Gary, there was this big, I don't know about you, but most women I know get pretty excited when we see for sale. I mean, that means the shoes are on sale, the dresses, something's on sale. So the thought of me getting a good price on whatever this might be was very exciting. And it also said bankruptcy, which told me, okay, like this is a big sale. I was thinking at the time naively, we're just going to could we just look at what it would be to purchase one building of the 10 buildings there, one small sliver? Surely we can afford this and make it happen. Well, I will fast forward this property today, and we all know inflation has kind of taken off and everything costs more or is worth more when you look at property than it was in 2020, right? This property is now valued at approximately 440 million dollars. 440. How much do you think we purchased? Not just building number one, but the whole lock, stock, and barrel, everything on that plot of land. Give me a guess.
Oh, and I think we talked about it a couple years. Was it $10 million somewhere in
A
there,
little
or
more than that. Come on, Gary.
100 million, 100 million?
It was 39.
39.
30
Okay, okay.
actually paid 37 because in the final fine tuning, there were some things that they were supposed to do that we didn't need done. So we
Yeah,
agreed upon $37 million for something that's valued at
yeah,
$400 million more. So what have we done since that time? We have now turned part of it into office space for staff, not admin here, but for special ed and technology. We've also now we have our PTech, which is for Allied Health, the Academy of Health Services, which is an early college concept, kiddos that can graduate with their high school diploma and their associates in a medically related field. We also have our early college, Tomball Early College there, which is the same thing, an academy, or excuse me, Tomball Star Academy, which is an early college. And we are very proud to say for the last 3 years, 100% of the students have walked the stage. So every kid that walked in there their freshman year has left with their associates and their high school diploma. Think of the savings to our families and the jump start for
yeah.
these kiddos. And then we have multiple warehouse space. We've turned our back open area arena. I'm not sure what they used it for, maybe just for trucks, but now we've enclosed it and it is a beautiful, pristine, state of the art show barn. That might seem a little odd, but this is Tomball, Texas, and true to our roots, ag is very important. As a matter of fact, this past year, we were this shy of our students raising $1 million to the kids for the animal projects and the other projects that they showed or sold. So this year, we're hoping to break the 1 million. But not only is it a robotics arena, Gary, it's also now one of the leading national robotics arena. So we rent the space to the First Robotics, and they loved it so much that we have a contract so that we can continue to have national robotic events held there. We're continuing to look at lease opportunities for rental space on that one piece. Let's go back to building number one, which is the one I really wanted, which was where our kids were going to be learning in their high school experience. I now have a very lucrative 5-year contract with Baker Hughes, an oil
Oh,
and
wow.
gas company. So let's fast forward a little bit. In the future, when the time is right, I would like to knock on the door and say, hey, remember me a few years ago? We talked about this. You didn't have space. Well, now I know you do because why? I'm your landlord. And so let's make that dream a reality. I'm really looking forward to that day. It'll be magical. The other things we have done, though, is built an entire CTE opportunity where we have a fully functioning courtroom. Our kids have a judge that comes and presides over teen court, real teen court there,
Mhm.
and our students are able to participate with their teacher who is a lawyer, right? Their teacher is a lawyer. They're over actual legal proceedings. Can you imagine wanting to be an attorney and learning from a real
Yeah.
teacher judge or teacher who was an attorney and a judge? How incredible is that? We have a 911 call center, cybersecurity, drone development. We also have now aviation, Gary, since I last talked to
Huh.
you. Our kiddos are able to learn through simulators in the warehouse space. I'm not brave enough to sit in them. I'm not sure my stomach can handle that, but I love seeing our young men and women get up there and literally get the login hours that they need to sit for pilot's license in the future. But it doesn't stop there. You can also go into aviation mechanics. We have Hooks Air Force Base or Hooks Airport near us. We have not too far away George Bush Airport, and we also have Hobby Airport. Think about the workforce pipeline right there. for
Hmm.
aviation mechanics. We have a huge graphic arts facility there on site that is brand new, state of the art, where our kids run a whole production center where they can make all kinds of, you can just imagine everything from what you put on a cup to what you put on a luggage tag. They can do door wraps, they can do window wraps, they can do bus wraps if we wanted them to. We utilize them as a service, so the kids are making money and they continue to grow in that endeavor, but learning a skill. When I think about the future and I think about a student being best prepared, a career or technical opportunity isn't just for kids going into the career force immediately. There may be kids that need to have a part-time job while they're going to school. There may be kids, again, who go right into industry and they have those skills. When I think about being an enterprise superintendent, it's about finding ways that you can utilize what's in your community to make additional dollars to be able to fund things that perhaps the state or even federal coffers are not able to fund us. You know, we're seeing cuts in many different ways. There's another not so exciting to talk about, but I'm going to tell you it's making money. Probably have never had someone on your podcast talk about their wastewater treatment plant. It's kind of an odd thing, right?
Yeah.
But think about it. Everybody needs one, and so do school districts. So what we've done is built it, and now it's on a Grand Parkway 99, which has had a lot to do with our fast growth in our community. And as businesses come online or even subdivisions, we've been able to increase the size and basically serve as the mud, hence making dollars off of something that we needed ourselves. So we built it, but built it to add on and to grow. And that's another generator of revenue. So being an enterprise superintendent is just looking at ways in which, whether it's an existing facility to rent the space, whether it's renting to an oil and gas company, to a robotics event, or adding on a service per se that everybody in your community needs. A little out of the box, but again,
A
it's a
little.
it's a it's pretty way out of the box, I'm going to say. But again, ways in which superintendents can think about, well, what does my community have that we can partner in, or that somehow the district can benefit, and yet there's dollars, not just the kids, but actually a financial impact in a positive way when we have so many things that financially aren't quite as positive right now at the federal or state level.
Yeah, and I would love to make this a part one of an additional pod. I know we're running short on time. I would love, because I know we can dive into this and a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
um so this enterprising superintendent, is that a model that is being taught in at the conferences and that sort of thing, or?
I need to take the time to actually put it out there to present. I've been asked to speak at different groups. I'm not actually, maybe AASA, just coming off the executive committee there, or even at TASA. I haven't done that yet, but whenever a group asks for me to talk about what we're doing, I'm happy to share that, because I think more people need to think this way in
Hmm.
this seat. It's just gone are the days that you can sit and think that the money you receive is going to be sufficient for all that you need to do. It's just not there anymore.
Yeah, and I love that you're talking about a balanced budget at the beginning as
Yes.
well. It's so so you got the fiscal responsibility plus the innovativeness with what you are doing for funding. And I was just thinking, I have three daughters. I'm like, man, they're always you kids are always talking about what they want to be when they grow up. Well, they can
Right, right,
actually test it out like while they're
right.
in school. And
Do they like it? Does it work for them before
yeah,
you spend all those dollars? How many families have done that and find out, I don't really like accounting, but now I'm an accountant, or I
I
don't
did
really
it.
like,
I
yeah,
did
I
it.
mean, it happens, right? And
Yeah.
it's okay, because you can find your way to where your heart really is happy, perhaps. But wouldn't it be great if you could find out in high school, not on mom and dad's dime, and really major in something that's really going to feed your heart and soul?
Yeah, yeah, get going early on what aligns with your gifts and talents and focus. And
Exactly. And we help them with that, I think, which is so, I mean, that's what education is all about, right? Being able to connect students to what they're, to be able to help them create the future and their future.
it's interesting you mentioned that. That's what education is all about. Because we meet with different superintendents. It almost seems like that definitions changes, right? It's different, and but I think it's a good point to start from there. Like, what is why are we doing this? You know,
Yeah,
what's the purpose of this?
yeah.
And but yeah, I'd love to dive into it deeper. So part one here, Tomball ISD, we're gonna keep, you know, hopefully have you on here again here soon to dive into it further. But hopefully our listeners got a little taste of what this bigger picture looks like. So that's amazing. It's really doing some amazing things. So before we close out, any thoughts before we go into part two here in the future?
No, just can't wait to share what we're doing next and what the future holds. And just a big thank you to anyone that's connected to education right now. It's still, Kristen McCullough said it best. Education is a profession that makes all other professions possible. We need to keep
Yeah.
that in mind. It's a little tough out there, but it is the best job I think you could ever have.
Yeah, yeah, and I love having you on the podcast because the mindset that and the culture you've created is just amazing at your district. So, thank you for joining, and thank you for those that have been listening in. Before we close out, we do want to give one final shout out to our sponsor, IDO Impact. IDO Impact's giving away hundreds of millions of dollars, another funding source. Reach out to IDO Impact if you need funding for your district, and stay tuned for future episodes of the Educational Leadership Podcast.